Ask Annex, same rules in 2023. If you got a question for us, you head to our website, annexwealth.com. Look for the Ask button. As always, if we can help, look for that Get Started button. Sarah Kyle is in the studio. She's a wealth manager at Annex Wealth Management. Welcome back.
Hi, Danny.
Happy New Year. And Matt Morzy, investment team manager and a CFP at Annex Wealth Management. Welcome back to you.
Happy New Year, Danny.
All right, first one is from Carly. What is your opinion of online banks?
Well, the advantage of an online bank is they have lower overhead since they don't actually have brick and mortar branches. So typically that results in their ability to pay a higher interest rate on savings accounts, and they also have lower fees. Plus, the online experience tends to be a little bit better, but you have to be comfortable with a digital relationship. It's difficult to deposit cash there, and there isn't that personal relationship that you have when you actually walk into your local bank branch.
Yeah, and I think they're popular because it is higher rates, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Lower fees,
All right.
higher rates, that's a big selling point.
Next up from Thomas. I am 30 years old and have 2 retirement accounts from previous employers and just getting started working for a new company. When I become eligible for benefits in 3 months, should I go ahead and consolidate the accounts? Would it be better to keep them separate? I don't know the pros and cons of both.
Well, this is the simplification versus diversification question. If you don't have the time or desire to keep track of the 3 different retirement accounts, then consolidation would make sense in order to achieve that simplification. However, different retirement plans have different investment options, so you might want to keep them separate for diversification. Keep in mind that different plans charge different fees as well. So I would suggest doing some homework, look at the investment options and the fees of each plan, and then decide if you have time and the desire to monitor more than one plan.
Yeah, and I work really close with Tom and our retirement plan team here, and I review all of the fund options for all the plans that we help manage, as well as any companies that we potentially might partner up with. And it's really interesting to see the differences between those plans and which plans have a lot of options that are really high quality, and some plans really don't spend a lot of time looking at that, and there's not much there. So I would really, really look at that. But one other thing to do as well, too, is if you've got old plans, maybe that's an opportunity to consolidate and roll over into an IRA that maybe you could directly manage or have somebody manage for you like Annex.
Yeah, and then you have that open architecture for your investment options.
Way to go, Thomas. At 30, you're thinking the right way. Next from Phil, I want to set up index funds for each of my grandkids who are minors with seed money that they can use to invest future birthday, Christmas, allowance money, etc. What should I use?
Well, I think that's awesome that you're doing. That's going to be a really great gift for them. So when I'm looking at investment options, one thing I'm looking at is what's the goal for this end money, and also what's the risk tolerance that I want to take for it as well, too. So how soon is this money going to be used for them? Is this something when they turn 18 that they're going to use for college? Is it something that may be long-term for a down payment of a house, a wedding, or even further into retirement? So think about what that time horizon is for you and how aggressive or conservative you want to be. There's a lot of ways to do it, though. So you could come to a place and have them manage that money for you. Otherwise, you could look at places like Vanguard or iShares that has a lot of different investment options. They'll have packaged together ETFs that might have a certain risk tolerance to it that will do kind of all of that for you as well.
So Grandpa Phil's thinking one thing. Wait till the grandkids say, I'm going to get a PlayStation. Right. Next up from John. After my grandfather passed away in 2017, the inherited IRA he left me has been in and then he names the fund. When I compare its performance against the S&P 500, it is significantly worse, which makes me believe my money is not in a good fund right now. I'm very inexperienced with investing. I have strong feeling that there could be better growth funds where I can move it. I am 28.
Yeah, so to me, this is, without knowing the fund that they're looking in, are you comparing apples to apples or not? The S&P 500 is a diversified basket of 500 or so of the largest companies in the U.S., but the fund that you're invested in might have a different objective to it. There's a reference to a growth fund at the end of the question, so with that, you're going to have more technology. You're going to have more large cap names in there as well, too. So you might not be comparing apples to apples in there. Again, you want to look at that. You also want to look at how much risk is being taken. Some really easy metrics that you can look at that is the Sharpe ratio, which is comparing essentially how much return are you getting based on the risk that you're taking, or the up-down capture ratio, which is showing on good days how much do you get versus on bad days how much of that badness do you get with that as well too, and looking to see how those measure up against each other. And then lastly, how does that fit within your overall portfolio of investments? This might be something that you have one specific reason for, or when you look at everything else, maybe you are lacking diversification because it's too much like other things as well too. So a good opportunity to review your full portfolio.
Yeah, and not every mutual fund uses the S&P 500 as their benchmark. So when you're picking a fund, look at what they're trying to achieve. Is it a passive mutual fund that's trying to meet their benchmark, or is it an active mutual fund that's trying to beat their benchmark?
Last week, we brought up some TikTok investing advice, and I got a lot of feedback on it. I found a list of the worst TikTok financial advice. Would you mind if we saved it for next week and kind of go over these? Because this is what not to do.
Yeah, that
Perfect.
sounds great. That's
Yeah.
going to be a lot of fun.
Which I think the moral of the story is don't go to TikTok for investing advice.
Exactly.
I mean, that is just a great idea.